If you've ever watched my videos and have wanted to engage in a dialogue about the gene keys or about some of the topics that I talk about, now's your chance. Before I get to how we're going to do that, I want to start with a quote from Carl Jung. "The spirit of evil is the negation of life force by fear. Only boldness can deliver us from fear. If the risk is not taken, the meaning of life is violated." I'll let you think about for yourself what that quote means. But for me, I've been holding back. I've been playing small. I've been unsure on what I want to do with this wisdom and knowledge. And I'm ready to engage with other people in real time. So we're going to have a call. It's going to be via Google Meet, and it'll be Friday, June 7th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will link to it in the description so you can add it to your calendar, and I hope to see you there. We're mostly going to be on this first one talking about a gene keys topic. I honestly haven't decided what I want it to be yet. So if you have anything specific, feel free to leave a comment. No promises. But definitely, I want it to be a dialogue. I want it to be a conversation. If you want to hear me teaching, you can just come to my YouTube channel. That's not what this is about. This is about application to your life, giving you context based on where you're coming from and in your specific issue. So that's the first part of this video. I don't know why that was so scary for me, and I don't know what my resistance has been to engaging with people. Honestly, I think it's been just that I believe that Gene Keys is such an internal journey that I haven't wanted to, ruin anyone else's experience or mess up somebody else's growth because I say the wrong thing at the wrong time. But like that quote just said, fear is the negation of life force, and it robs us of what we can potentially create. Second part is this is an invitation to you as well as accountability for me. One of the things I'm working with in the Gene Keys right now is this little mini course that I mentioned in my last video called the Jaguar's Journey. And the first animal that I'm working with is the python, and the python ties to the 29th Gene Key, which is half-heartedness and commitment and devotion at the city. And that's actually my sphere of attraction, and I had no idea that the python was going to represent that when I chose it. I also didn't think it was going to show up in my life in such a pronounced way so quickly, but the very next day after I made this choice, I committed to myself to doing what I'm calling the What's Possible challenge, for lack of a better term. And I'm going to do it for 30 days. I actually started yesterday, which was May 31st. Today's June 1. I'm going to go all the way through the end of the June. So I guess technically 31 days. I got to jump start because I'm a big why wait if you know you're going to do something. But part of this is sticking through when things get hard. Part of it is making a commitment to myself and to the world, to people especially that I want to be an example for and I want to show up for. And it's called the What's Possible Challenge because it is a need, and it's been on my mind for a long time, and this has just been the kick over the cliff. I need to know what's possible when I am firing on all cylinders, when I am doing the things that I need to be doing, that I know I need to be doing. I almost thought about calling it the Boot Camp Challenge because I was in the Marine Corps and I went to boot camp at Parris Island, and you have no choice but to be on and focused all day, every day, 7 days a week, the entire time that you're there. And I've been craving that discipline and craving something like that. And it's gone through my mind, maybe I need to go somewhere and do something. But like I preach always, it's in your life that this stuff really matters. And so I want to do this in my life. And so this is a set of things that I'm committing to doing every single day. And some of them for me are easy. They're already ingrained habits, and I just will miss one occasionally. So if you don't do any of the things that I'm about to talk about, maybe don't try and take them all on at once. Take on the ones that feel the most pertinent. As somebody that was a fitness coach for a long time, I talked and helped people set goals and make sure that they didn't bite off more than they could chew. And the flip side of that coin is that there's a time for discipline, and there's a time for pushing oneself. And for me, that time is now. Before I get to the actual things that are comprised of this, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I think is possible at the end of this 30 days. So maybe think of this as why you might want to tag along. Number one is a leaner, fitter, more capable body. And for me, I'm a big surfer. That's my primary focus. I want to make sure that I'm fit to go and surf big, fun waves, and I don't have to worry about my paddle strength. I don't need to worry about how long I can hold my breath. I don't need to worry about those things. Also, I just love to exercise, and I have not been pushing it. And at times that's a good thing, but at times I miss it. I miss going heavy, and I miss going fast, and the outcome of that is that you look damn good while we're at it. Number two is less pain in my hips and back specifically. My body, I've talked about this before, the sphere of the purpose in your profile is tied to physical keynotes. It's about physicality, and for me, it's the spine. And my back is just an absolute train wreck. It has been since I was 25 years old, let's call it. And it really, for a period, I couldn't do anything. It's gotten better over the past year especially, but there are still days where I'm pretty debilitated. And I know if I am more on point with my nutrition, if I am getting my water in, if I'm doing mobility time, if I'm getting spiritual time, because a big part of it is emotional and spiritual. I know that it is not all physical, then that pain goes away. Next one is a better sleep schedule. I am an early bird. I like to wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. I like to go to bed at 9:30 at night, and it's hard to do that just because of the way that the world is structured. And I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I can make a bazillion excuses as to why I've been waking up at 6:30 or 7. But I know that I can get to bed, and I know that I can wake up feeling refreshed. And part of that is drugs too. I smoke weed sometimes to fall asleep. Ties into the pain issue. Also just mentally, there's anxiety there's all sorts of things. And so I use weed to self-medicate sometimes. And that, even though I sleep more and longer, man, it isn't quality sleep. I wake up feeling tired still. Next up is more money. If I do the things that I want to do, namely creating every single day, then I know more money is going to show up in my life. And that is the limiter for me right now. A lot of you guys know I shut down a big business, and that put me into bankruptcy. And so money is an issue for me right now. I know that when it's time, I'll be able to make it back. I learned a lot of lessons in business. I have the charisma, let's call it, to make something happen, and the knowledge. However, there's a block around it right now, and that's keeping me from eating how I want to be eating. Not entirely, but like I'd like to go all organic and have meat directly from farms and all of these things that are more expensive. I want to spoil my daughter. I want to travel more. The next house after this one that I'm at, which is beautiful, but I want to be out on the beach. I want closer relationships in my life with my partner, with my daughter, with my family. And I know if I'm the person that I can be, that those things are going to get better. I want to reconnect to who I really am. I am a joker. I love to play and laugh, and that has not been my personality over the past decade. It's been serious, which is actually my IQ, seriousness, delight, ecstasy. And man, has that manifested. It has been, you need to quit playing around and get to work, because life is hard and you deserve to have stuff. And I've really lessened my attachment to stuff, which has been nice, but the seriousness has stuck around in some way. Part of it too is embarrassment. Like I really am a big kid at heart, and I love to like swing from things and jump around and act stupid on the beach, and I worry about judgment sometimes. But doing these things will reconnect me to who I am at my core, and hopefully will give me permission to show up that way again. It's going to give me pride and dedication and a feeling of knowing that I am doing the things that I said that I'm going to be doing. It's going to give me a stronger connection to God and to my higher self. Wisdom and experience are going to come from this. The gene keys have been a huge source of wisdom for me. And I know that there is a deep, deep well of internal wisdom that is trying to come through if I can give it the space and time and energy. And that's really what this 30 days is about. And by the end, I know that this will unlock something for me. It will unlock a new phase of life, because commitment leads to synchronicity. So those are the things that I think are going to show up at the end or during these 30 days. Now let's talk about the actual things that I'm going to be doing here. So number one is no weed, no alcohol. Alcohol is not a hard one for me. I hardly drink. It's like a couple of drinks a week, maybe with a dinner. I don't love the feeling of being drunk. Anyway, so that one's easy. Weed is a hard one for me though. Like I said, I self-medicate. It helps me with my sleep. It helps me with pain. And it drains my life force in a big way. And I know that, and I can feel it. And I use it at times. Why I struggle with it is at times it really connects me to my body, and it does have this spiritual flavor to it. But then there's other times that I use it to numb, and oftentimes I think that use of it wins out. And so for me, for now, we're gonna go 30 days without. And I actually just did this in the end of March to the end of April. I just did a month without, but that was the first time in 10 years that I had not smoked for like every day. And then a couple months ago, or last month, whenever that is, I committed to 30 days without. So this is also a what happens results wise. Will the results replicate, or will this be something totally different? So that's number one, no weed or alcohol. Number two, work out every single day. 3 to 4 of those workouts need to be hard workouts each week. So when I say work out every day, for me, I joke with people, I say I wiggle. Like I do a lot of mobility work, some yoga flows, some animal crawls around the grass. Sometimes it's literally just like laying on my back and moving my limbs around. Those all count for me. So maybe you should call it movement instead of workout every day. And then 3 to 4 days per week, doing something hard, doing something that breaks a sweat, doing something that I'm pushing, whether it's the loading that I'm using or how fast I'm going, something that is challenging and makes me breathe heavy and or makes me like exert a lot of force. Next up is sleeping as close to possible as 9:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. is my ideal sleep window here. And I'm giving myself plus or minus 30 minutes. However, I need to be lights out in my room at 9:30. The reason I'm giving myself plus or minus is sometimes when I don't have weed, it's hard for me to fall asleep. And so I encourage you for any of these things, if you're gonna try this in your life, adjust these things. Go into this with a clear set of agreements that make sense for you. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You just have to do what feels best and right for you. Naps are okay here, even encouraged. So if you don't feel like you get enough sleep at night, definitely if you can squeeze a nap in, man, naps always make me feel so much better. Number 4 is honor the callings of God and self. And this one is a little bit fuzzy or nebulous, but I know in my heart of hearts when I'm doing something that is misaligned. When I catch myself scrolling through Instagram or through my YouTube feed, I have this moment of, you know, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. Or if I'm doing something else, every once in a while I get this very strong urge knowing that I need to do something. Oftentimes it's shooting a video, maybe creating a piece of art. Usually it's something creative. And sometimes I don't honor that because I'm in the middle of something else. But during this 30 days, every single time, honoring those callings. 5th one is continuing what I call the savers habits. And that's from a book called Miracle Morning is where I got that acronym. So savers is silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, read, scribe. So silence is just sitting quietly. Could be meditation if you wanted it to be. I do this first thing in the morning. Prayer falls into this as well. Affirmations, I typically just say the things that I want, or like say something to God, or whatever feels appropriate for you in the affirmations bucket is fine. I used to have like a series of affirmations that I would read every day. I've gotten away from that, although I did just find them as I was figuring out how I was going to track all this, which I'm going to talk about here later. But you can choose whatever feels good for you on the affirmation front. And then visualization, I'm picturing an end state. So it might be me at the end of this 30-day challenge. It might be me a few years down the line when whatever my new business is online, and I'm living in a house on the beach, able to surf every day, and I'm in a nice big open kitchen and I'm cooking for people. And my daughter has friends over and we're laughing, and there's a porch where I can go out and read, and I see this in my head so clearly. And I typically do silence, affirmation, visualization all in one chunk first thing when I wake up in the morning. Exercise, I know we just talked about the workouts. For me, this is morning movement. So it's like taking 10 minutes to do a little bit of mobility work, to move my hips around, to loosen up my spine, that sort of thing. This is not my hard workout for the day. Read, self-explanatory. I'm reading the Bible right now. So this is my time to do my Bible reading. And then finally is scribe, which is just write. And he straight up says in the book, he wish he could have wrote write, but he couldn't think of an acronym for a W. So he made it scribe. And I write a lot. I have these notebooks and pads everywhere. So this could be journaling. This could be, I just found an exercise, for example, called 100 questions, where you literally just write down in one shot 100 questions. And the idea is by the time you get towards the end, there are some pretty deep questions coming up. But whatever you want to write is fine. So continuing to do all of those things. Number 6 is moving often. So throughout my day, I can get stuck behind a computer, or I can get stuck in a posture where I'm sitting all of the time, and it does not help my low back and hip issues. So that's what I'm talking about here. Is if you ever heard of the Pomodoro technique, where you do 25 minutes of work and then a 5-minute break. So 25 on, 5 off, 25 on, 5 off, so on and so forth. I'm going to use that method so that I'm sort of having some movement, and it could be dance, it could be a yoga flow, it could be playing my drums, like whatever, as long as I'm out and I'm moving my body around. Number 7, drinking, for me, 100 ounces of water per day. For you, half your body weight in ounces per day is a good place to start, but whatever feels appropriate for you there. Number 8 is a progress video I'm going to do every day, but you could do a progress photo if you wanted to. And the reason I'm doing a video is I want to update 5 areas every single day. So the first one is my body, and that's just going to be, I'm going to spin around in front of the camera so that we can see what's happening changes wise for my body. Number 2 is money. What's happening on that front? Is the money coming in going up? Is it going down? Is there a deal on the horizon? Like, what is happening in the money world? Number 3 is soul. At a deep level, how is my heart feeling? Am I open? Am I closed? How's my connection to God? Am I getting the finer or more subtle messages? Number 4 is relationships. How are my relationships doing with my daughter, with my partner, with my family, with coworkers? Am I able to show up for them? Am I able to listen? Am I able to provide value for them? And then lastly, number 5 is synchronicity. What synchronicities are showing up in my life? And so I already told you about one that happened when I started this, which was creating the challenge itself, which I didn't think about this challenge, this commitment, until after I had made it and created the tracking thing. And then I was like, holy shit, the Python, it was wild. Anyway, so tracking those synchronicities. Number 9, and there's 10 things. Number 9 is praying between each activity for help. I don't know if you can see that. It's really pale right now, but it says pray in Sharpie. And my job here, my focus is on praying on every transition. So before I started this video, I prayed. Before I worked out this morning, I prayed. Before I eat, I pray. When I go from my computer to a book, I pray. Like, every transition is a quick prayer. It's as much a open channel with God as it is like helping me to stay present and to stay aware and in the moment. And then lastly is helping someone else every single day. And that could be something as simple as encouragement. It could be somebody has a flat tire on the side of the road and I stop to help them. I mean, this one, the world's gonna have to provide and I just have to pay attention. So those are the things. And the way that I'm tracking this is with a platform called Notion. If you've ever heard of Notion before, I started using it a few months ago. It really is much more than like a habit tracker, but that's one of the functions that it has. But you can create pages. I can create like public websites to share with people. If you've ever heard of Evernote, it's kind of like a similar thing, like except it's more like web page based. And you can have recipes and you can have a journal on there and you can have literally you can make up any web page. It's like a Squarespace meets Evernote. It's really cool. Anyway, one of the features that they have is a habit tracking feature. If you're more old school, this is me usually. You could just get a pen and paper and do check marks as you get these things done. Whatever makes sense for you to be able to track. So again, my things are no weed or alcohol, working out daily, sleeping close 9 to 9:30 to 5:30, honoring the callings of God and self, continuing my savers habits, moving throughout the day, drinking tons of water, again, half your body weight in ounces, progress video every day, praying between activities, and helping someone else every day. For a couple of these, this was like my brainstorm. For a couple of these, I picked hard and fast numbers so that I could know, did I do it or did I not? For example, with prayer, I just decided to say praying at least 10 times over the course of a day. Because how do I, it's really hard to track some of these things. Like for another one, for example, is honoring the callings of God and self. Like how do you keep track of that? So something to think about as you create yours. There's a lot at stake here. If I don't do these things, I lose trust in myself. I don't know ultimately what my potential is. I've never gone in a decade, let's say. I haven't fully committed myself wholeheartedly, 100% effort, all in, no varying, every minute of every day. Like it's been since the Marine Corps since I've done that. And that was a different version of me. And I want to know what is possible with this version of me if I do that thing. So we'll see what happens. again, reminder on the call. So please come to do that with me. And if you're going to do it, leave a comment so that I can help encourage you. And, you know, maybe we'll do some check-ins along the way. It's one of the things I want to talk about on the call also, that we're going to do next week. So again, reminder there, call via Google Meet Friday, June 7th at 1:30 p.m. That is Eastern Standard Time. I will put the link in the description. Thanks for bearing with me. This one's almost more of a journal entry, but also I'd love for you to join me on this. I think the more energy, the more people, the more likely it will be that we all stick to it. All right, guys, until next time.